again, and here we are back at Perfectly Paranormal, episode 147. My name's Annaschmidt, and I'm here every week to share with you true paranormal encounters and information about devils, demons, and dark energy beings that no one else talks about. And today you're going to get a spooky look into whether there is real evidence that ghosts exist. I know I've been talking a lot about spirits or ghosts lately, but the demons seem to have taken a bit of a back burner. They're not giving me anything to talk about. It's really quite funny. I think they've become a little bit tight-lipped and they're avoiding me like the plague. So we're going to talk spirits. People are always wanting to know about spirits or ghouls or ghosts or whatever people want to call them. I find that this question about whether ghosts are real is a little bit rude. I personally believe that spirits or ghosts exist because I've had the experiences. I have had the happenings that made me go, well, there is nothing tangible that could have caused that. So it's got to be some sort of paranormal energy. But many people ask me this question. So I thought, well, we might as well answer it. So the real part, when I use the word real, it's always up for personal interpretation. I mean, some people are going to be instantly scared, frightened, but as always, I don't share anything scary. It's all very relatable. And people go, wow, is that it? And I go, yep, there is nothing scary about spirits. So I'm going to do my best to be sciencey today, because you all know I'm very energy connected and I haven't really got a very scientific brain. And I may not have all the sciencey words to go with this, but like I just said, I want to keep it relatable. So let's look at what the most sciencey of all scientists said. This is Einstein, what he said about energy. Einstein stated that all energy of the universe is constant, and then it can neither be created nor destroyed. So my non-sciencey brain questions, what happens to the energy when we die? Einstein didn't really have an answer for that. He did say that it is transformed into another form of energy, but he didn't say exactly what that was. I think that it's hard for people to think about this on a science level and also look at it on an energetic level, because the two kind of clash. And I've had experiences, so I lend myself towards the energetic side of it. I have looked at the sciencey side of it quite often and gone, how can we prove it? How can we prove it scientifically? And I have a few paranormal gadgets that with lights and noises and the spirit box, but people still doubt those. You're faking it. Oh, there's someone talking through that. Oh, you're pressing the light, or you've got a magnet or whatever. There's always the skeptics out there, which is okay. Skeptics keep it real in their way and very, very grounded. I never give the skeptics a hard time because we are all entitled to our own opinions. Now, so I got a bit off track. Einstein said that the energy is transformed into another form of energy. So I wonder if it exists in the same form of energy, but outside the physical body when the person dies. It hasn't actually been transformed. The physical body simply dies, and that energy is still present. And I'm going to explain why I think that. Now, I say this because I've witnessed spirits or ghosts still having their personalities from when they were in their physical bodies. And spirit energy it's not all the same. Because if we look at it the way Einstein was saying, that it must be transformed into another form of energy, does that mean that all spirit energy should all be the same? That EMF energy, that electromagnetic frequency, does that mean that it's all the same? But then why are the spirits or ghosts still having personality traits when I find them in people's homes and I say, oh, this is happening in your home and this is why this person is this way and this is what they're doing? They go, how did you know? I said, because I'm seeing the person and they're grumpy or they're angry or they're crying or they're scared or they're throwing things against the wall or knocking cups off the cupboard because they're annoyed at you. They're trying to protect their home. So how can all spirit energy be the same? I've come across spirits that are quite loving, or suicide souls, as I call them, that have taken their own lives, and their energy is still here, and they're around their families. They're present in the place where they've passed away, because their energy is still there. Yes, the ambulance has come and taken the body away, and it's been either buried or cremated, but the energy of the person is still in the place where they've passed away. So, is the electromagnetic field or current or vibration or frequency that was in our bodies, what is that? Now, I know it's the thing, because you can feel spirits, and I'm going to get on to talking about that. This really does create a big problem for scientists and paranormal investigators. The scientists have proved that the electromagnetic field is a thing. The paranormal world refers to spiritual happenings or supernatural happenings that is beyond the scope of what is explainable by sort of current scientific understandings and so forth, as real through their own personal experiences. A lot of people don't believe in the paranormal world until you experience it. And you go, wow, I had no idea that this is happening. I have clients that are children. But I don't talk to the children, I talk to the parents. And quite often the parents are skeptical or not very psychically open. But the kids are very psychic, and the parents are confused because their kids have seen things in the house and they're 2 and 3 years old or 4 years old. They don't have mental health issues. It can't be that. It's not a medical issue. It's got to be energetic. Parents will contact me and go, I need to talk to you about this, but I'm a non-believer. That's fine. Just share with me the signs and symptoms. And by the end of it, once their home is cleared, their children are sleeping, they're sort of going to bed, there's no more wetting the bed or too scared to go to the toilet or sleeping with the parents all night long, they're like, wow, there has to be something to this. Now, those sort of people, they're now not skeptics, but they're not believers. They're kind of sitting on the fence, and that's fine. Because now they understand where their kids are coming from. The kids aren't nuts. There's nothing wrong with them mentally and emotionally or physically. They're just very, very open to the energy world around us. Our kids and our pets make the paranormal real. There's been children, now I'm going to sidestep here a little bit. There's been children, it's been documented scientifically by different doctors. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head because this has just kind of popped into my head. It's not in my notes. Children who have had past lives, that when they're old enough to talk about it, like 6, 7, 8, they've gone, I was this person and I lived here and this is what happened and this was my husband and this is how I lived and what I wore and my job I had. When it's verified through tangible documents, people go, wow. How can a 6-year-old know that lives in the US and they're talking about some obscure place in the UK? People have past lives. They are reincarnated. I know this is not a spirit thing, but it's another way of looking at it scientifically. People are very aware. They're very connected to the energy world because we are energy. We just adopt these physical bodies to experience, to experience the earth's reality and all its ups and downs. Now, this is where you get into the scientific argument. Many scientists argue, whether it be in written documents, online or in person, they argue that paranormal phenomena, happenings, experiences are often the results of fakes or frauds or hoaxes or misinterpretations or drug-induced or mental health psychological factors, rather than actual possible supernatural occurrences. Not everything can be explained by science. And that is hard for people who are very scientifically minded, very sciencey, to understand, because they have to let go of part of their reality and go, I don't know. And that puts fear in people when they don't know. This is why I created this podcast, to share all of the, I don't know, unseen things that are around us. Because when you make it relatable and help parents with psychic kids and the parents are skeptics, they go, wow, there is something else out there. So I did a whole episode on skeptics, oh my goodness, back in episode 81, where I shared lots and lots of information, signs and symptoms and how skeptics think and how skeptics have sometimes changed their minds through experiences like what I just shared. So if you're interested, you can go back and have a listen to the full story in episode 81. So why can't scientists prove that ghosts exist? Now, I have a friend who is a scientist, and she said that because there is no verifiable, quantitative, observable testing procedures that she can use or anyone else can use to obtain consistent proof. Now, they were her words. So they can't repeat their tests, they can't repeat their experiments or their observations to prove that on a consistent state that ghosts actually do exist. They can't gather accurate data because science is all about data. So I don't think we can ever convince scientists that ghosts exist. Now, the great rationalist Einstein, he was noted to say that even if he saw a ghost, he wouldn't believe it. So where do we go with that? Now, this is where we get to my thinking. I think ghost energy is a person's soul. When the physical body dies, we've already talked about this a bit already, the energy has to go somewhere. Like, it just makes simple sense. Now, I've been to many old locations or new locations, like checking out buildings or the history or cool graffiti, where I'm going to a place soon, which I know the spirit's there, and I keep getting called to go to this creepy building, and I've got a friend coming with me. I need to meet them on their own ground so they feel comfortable with who I am to then come and get help. When I go to places, I have no preconceived ideas that ghosts are going to be there. I have felt ghosts in people's homes that I've been doing energetic clearings on. And this is all over the world. You don't have to be in a place literally, physically standing in it to do the work. I work from a floor plan, the occupants' permission, some of their signs and symptoms or whatever's going on in the home. And then in I go to do an energetic clearing. And I always let spirits know, and the dark and the demonic entities in homes, that they won't be hurt or harmed in any way. They just simply need to move house. That's the dark and the demonic entities. The spirits, I will help if they wish. If they're connected to the family in the home, which I found once, the man said to me, I think my granddad's here and I want him to stay. I went, that's fine. I don't shift spirits out of homes unless they want to go, or unless they're causing harm or being a bit naughty. Then we'll have conversation, and then there's usually a reason why they're still there. But this particular home, I've talked about it before on another episode. Oh my goodness. This spirit was the great-great-grandfather of the man and the family that lived in this home. And you know how I saw him? Was this massive moustache appeared in my third eye in my mind. It was sort of black and grey and was sort of sprinkled with silver hair, grey hair. It was an older man. And I saw part of his eyes. That's all he wanted to show me. And when I spoke to the homeowner, I was like, I need to tell you something. It's going to sound a bit weird, but it would not leave me alone until I wrote it down and said, I'll talk to the great-great-great-grandson. I thought it was his grandfather because he said, my grandfather's here. Turned out to be the great-great-grandfather. The great-great-grandfather just wanted me to know that he was watching me. And the family that are in that home now went back through a book and actually found a picture of the great-great-grandfather. When I said the moustache, they went, no, I don't think it's the grandfather. He didn't sport this big fancy moustache. They sent me a picture of the great-great-grandfather and I went, that's him. And it was just an acknowledgement. He didn't want help. He was just saying, I'm watching you. I'm watching you. Why are you in my house? And I just explained that the family living there felt that there was some negative energy. We're not talking about the spirits. They just wanted the house cleaned. And the spirits stayed there. And they were still quite happy, all living together. So I know spirits are real through my own personal experiences. And I've had people say to me, oh, you do drugs. Oh, you drink alcohol. And I said to them, I don't. I live a very simple lifestyle, eat a very healthy diet. I don't do any recreational drugs. I don't even take any prescription drugs or tablets or anything. I'm really quite healthy. I don't drink alcohol because I just can't cope with alcohol. It just doesn't do it for me. I don't even drink tea or coffee, Coca-Cola or anything with caffeine because I am energetically heightened enough as it is. I don't need caffeine sending me on a brain spin. Now, the sciencey people, they talk about the electromagnetic field. or the electromagnetic frequency, or the electromagnetic vibration. We as human beings emit electromagnetic energy. Now, whether that's the person's soul, whether that's the person's body, like the brain and the heart, creating that electromagnetic energy to help the body function. Remember, I'm not sciencey, so you're not going to get a good scientific example out of me. But the person's soul, I think, emits a very high frequency vibration. And when the person's physical body dies, or passes away, that soul energy, that electromagnetic energy, it's got to go somewhere. I mean, Einstein said that energy in the universe is constant and then it can neither be created or destroyed. So every time a person dies, their soul energy has to be present somewhere. I did read online that one person thought, or a few people on a particular forum thought, that when a person's buried in the ground, their soul energy is then consumed by the earth. It goes back to the earth. We are organic. Our physical bodies are organic and they return to the earth. Now, when a person's cremated, what happens to the soul energy then? I think it's already left the body. My dad, who I can talk about because he passed away now, probably, I think it's about 10 years ago. When he passed away that night, I stayed with my mum in her home because he passed away in the home. And she didn't want to go to bed. So she slept in her favourite recliner and I slept on the couch. And I got woken up in the middle of the night because I'm a very light sleeper, energetically and physically. And I'm sitting there in near darkness because she always had a light on somewhere, whether it was in the hallway or a torch or something. She didn't like sleeping in the dark. I'm wide awake. Like when I wake up, I'm wide awake. And I really don't like it because it's hard to get back to sleep. So I'm wide awake and I'm just lying there. And I'm a bit numb because my dad's just passed away suddenly for no reason at all that we found out. He did tell me he was going to graduate soon and he wasn't studying anything I knew of. I think he knew he was going to pass away. God love him. The way he looked at me, I should have known. This was in my 40s. I had an inkling, but we never want to think about things like that. So anyway, I'm lying there on the couch. I sit up and I'm thinking, I'll go to the toilet. I'll make a cup of tea. And as I'm sitting there, this energy appears in front of me. Now, in my mum's home, they lived there for 40 years. I lived there for, 20 years before I moved out. We never saw any spirits, never anything really happened in that house. I'm sitting up on the couch in near darkness and I'm seeing, how can I explain it? It's like black and white TV static, but it's inside the form of a body. Now, I could neither see through this body, but it wasn't solid. But this static was moving sideways within this body form. And I was like, wow, Dad, is that you? And he was there for about 5 seconds and then he disappeared. It had to be him. He died literally 5 or 6 hours ago. He's still in the home. He was still keeping an eye on Mum. I reckon he didn't know what happened. But that was fascinating. Now, I had no paranormal devices. I had no expectation of anything other than my mum being upset, needing company, and I'm there for her. But there he was. And it never happened again. But it was that one time when he passed away and I saw that. I was like, wow, thank you. That to me was proof. He showed himself to me because he knew I would understand. So was that his electromagnetic energy? Was that his vibration, his frequency showing itself to me? But it didn't make me feel sick or unwell or heightened or crying or happy or angry or anything. It was simply there. And I observed and I was like, wow, I'll never forget it. And people like myself, whether you call yourself a psychic or a medium or an energy worker, whatever it is, whatever label you give yourself, these people are sensitive to energy and they can sense, feel, hear, see, know that there is higher vibrational frequencies present. This energy is everywhere in the earth environment. It's literally everywhere, not just in old, supposedly haunted places where you might have felt sort of strangely odd energy. Yes, it'll be in funeral homes and maybe old buildings, old hospitals, asylums, all the places where people lived sad lives or they've passed away. They may still be stuck in those places. But I've picked up spirit energy in the supermarket, in my local supermarket. I've walked through something or someone in the supermarket and they've gone, oh, she's the one I've been waiting for. I'm just going to hitch a ride to her house and she can help me. I've had it happen on so many occasions. Sometimes I come home from places and I'm like, oh, I feel a bit odd. But I'll get this very gentle squeeze on my shoulder. And I'm not talking a pinch, a punch, a poke, or prod, or electricity, or anything nasty. It's a slight touch on my hair. Or it's, the ever so frequent rush of energy that comes up to me in some places. It's like a crowd of people running towards you. Spirits will find you if you are an energy worker. They will follow you because they want help. There's just no other explanation for it. So, are you a believer? Are you a non-believer? Or do you still sort of sit on the fence? I don't judge anyone. We've all got our own opinions and we all need to experience paranormal presence, whether it's personally, with the touch, with the feel, seeing something, using a paranormal device, an EMF detector that has lights on it, or sound, or hearing a voice through a spirit box, which is the most beautiful thing ever. Spirits that can use a spirit box, which is a small radio that runs backwards through the channels. Spirits can talk through the white noise. So all I can say is observe the environment. Observe your homes, observe people, observe the environment around you when you're out. And be open-minded, if you choose to the possibility of the paranormal world around us. If you like the content of this episode today, please think about leaving me a rating and a review. What reviews do is they let other people know your thoughts about my supernatural subject matter. People love reading reviews, and we're spreading the word about the real paranormal world around us. I would really appreciate it. So thank you for joining me today, and don't forget, if you want to share a paranormal experience just with myself, or you would like me to share one of your experiences through my podcast, you can do a voice recording, or you can write out your experience and I will read it exactly as you have written. You can email me at spiritualbeing44@gmail.com. And for information on paranormal house clearing, you can visit my website, Spiritual Being. You will find the address in the description box. And I look forward to sharing this spooky space again with you next week. And remember, life is perfectly paranormal.